as the CIA spy expert. Tell me about P. Diddy, what you see in the case, what you see is true, and what you see as total lies and just manipulation.
Clearly, Diddy is lying. Without a doubt, he's lying. You can even empirically conclude that he's going to lie because he has a team of attorneys, and what are those attorneys all saying? They're all saying that what he needs to do is remain consistent, because attorneys know how this works. So by seeing Diddy go back and forth, enough is enough, but then he also comes out and he's like, well, I did actually do that bit of abuse because it was my all-time low point. That was when I hit rock bottom. I think
So he gave a reason to why he did it.
But he's breaking that consistency. So the fact that we see the inconsistency is a big part of what makes this story so interesting to the public, because he's violating consistency, which immediately makes you distrust him, because you're like, well, you said that you didn't do it. Now you're saying that you did do it. Which one is it, buddy? And obviously, if you said that you did do it once. Does that mean that you did do it multiple times? Right? So, we have to assess, based on the information, he has lied in the past. He will most likely lie again in the future. And he is being coached to lie because he is being coached to remain consistent by his team of attorneys. That's just natural evolution of things, right? Look at the time element of this. I mean, some of these accusations go all the way back to the mid to late 90s. So over time, you've had multiple witnesses with multiple stories. The stories are unique and different with common themes. Drugging is a theme. Sex is a theme. Large social parties is a theme. Short temper is a theme, right? When you look at the themes over time from multiple people, you have multiple bits of evidence. And going back that far in time, that wasn't always public knowledge, right? There are people who recorded interventions or things that happened in the 90s that were recorded in the 90s that are coming out now. That video that happened in the hotel that was recorded in the past came out in the present, right? It's rock solid evidence to show there's inconsistency over time. That's what we're looking for, right? And then effort. Diddy's putting a whole hell of a lot of effort into this. Not only is he putting physical time, he's putting his fortune into it. He's got great attorneys into it. I mean, he is working so hard to try to make people believe that he's innocent. That kind of effort is a huge giveaway when you're dealing with a known liar.
Really? You wouldn't think that, let's say Diddy was innocent, you wouldn't think that he would do that? He would put his money behind it?
So what trained people are trained to do is let time do the work for you, right? Think about huge controversies from the past, right? When Bill Cosby was accused of sexual misdeviance and abuse and all that other stuff, when that happened,
he gave them the date rape drug, and then he would have sex with them.
Right. So when that happened for Bill Cosby, there was a short period of time where the accusations were made, but then what you saw was silence. And that's why now, while you and I are talking about it, I can't even remember his name, right? Because trained professionals, so a very good attorney team or a very good litigation team for him, let him know, like, hey, the best thing to do is just stay quiet. Do you know why you never hear CIA defend itself?
No, I never thought
Because they already know you're going to forget. Once you defend yourself, you bring credibility to the accusation. So the best thing to do is not even defend yourself, right? One of the things that I think the best influencers online do, and that I try to emulate, is people attack the best influencers all the time. They attack them with all sorts of things. And the best influencers don't respond. They don't react. Because they know that two things. By not reacting, they're not validating the claim. And two, there will always be people who want to attack. So professionally trained, you let them attack and you ignore their attacks, and you recognize that them attacking a wall is going to either bore them over time, or it's going to turn into more people who are attacking, and more people who are attacking is just more engagement. The algorithm likes it more, people like the attention, whatever else. So there was Bob Saget remember he was a wholesome family man in was it Family Matters? Is that what the sitcom was? It was something like that. Full House. Thank you very much. He was a wholesome family man in Full House. And then it came out that his comedy was actually really gross. It was sexual and it was full of swear words and everything else. And there was controversy about it for a long time. He didn't say anything about it. He was just like, this is my comedy, and there's a difference between my comedy and my role in Full House. The end. Now people let it go. People don't even think about it. People don't talk about it. Now it's totally normal when you see a comedian who's vulgar in one situation and totally normal in another situation. It's all about understanding that when you don't put effort into it, you're not picked, like trained people know that low effort is going to be perceived as honesty. So Diddy is putting a whole hell of a lot of effort into something. If he was truly innocent, let the evidence carry the route for you. Let the lawyers, let the process do its thing, and you'll be fine. But instead, he's got to put effort into it because he knows he's fabricating.
Wow. So how much of him being powerful was part of what he'd potentially, because obviously he hasn't been convicted yet or anything like that, is part of how he was able to maybe hide the lie? Because to your point, if that video was made in the 90s, it's 2024.
Yeah.
So how does a lie get hidden so much? Is it the power that's behind it?
Yes, in short, it's the power that's behind it. But let's be honest here. We like lies.
Oh, go on.
We like lies. We all like lies.
Give me an example.
You won't tell people the truth about the things that you're the most ashamed or vulnerable about, even if they ask directly, right? But if you ask someone else a direct question, you don't like it when they avoid your question.
So true.
So we like to, because we know inherently that lies protect us. Lies are a shield. Lies, we have a saying at CIA, that lies are valuable, but the truth is powerful, right? Lies are valuable because they hide an advantage. They hide an informational advantage, they protect an informational advantage, they hide sensitivities, they hide vulnerabilities, they hide weakness, they increase your survivability, they increase your strength for long-term survival, right? So lies are a good thing, and we all like lies. We lie to our kids, we lie to our spouses, we lie to our jobs, we lie to our bosses. We even file false claims for insurance and for all sorts of stuff. We love to lie because we know that lying will keep us safe. What we don't like is being lied to. And that is a disconnect in the cognitive brain where we feel entitled to lie when it protects us, but we do not feel comfortable when we're being lied to in a way that prevents us from getting what we want, essentially threatening our survival because now you have information I don't have and I don't like the way that feels, right? So the reason that this is important is because CIA teaches every field officer out there will always be lies and everybody will forever lie. Just accept it. Understand that truth. And then that's going to make it that much more powerful and that much more effective when you have tools to find the truth. Like the 3 questions that we talked about, like understanding that people's instinctive response is to lie first. I can almost guarantee you that you're going to be, so the average person, hold on, there's a statistic, I'm trying to remember what it was. I think the average person tells 2 to 3 lies a day, and people who fabricate excessively tell between 7 and 12 lies a day, right? So what that means is even the most honest people tell 2 to 3 lies a day, right? And those can be white lies, where I don't like your pants, but I tell you I do. Or those can be big lies, where I tell you that I was at the gym when I was really with another woman.
So how does, going back, how does that connect then to the power? Let's say, so P. Diddy, I'm trying to grasp at how do people just not speak up when they see the lie or the manipulation immediately? How does it take 30 years? And it made me think about credibility, title. So he's famous, he's a rapper, he's been around for a long time. So you kind of feel like you trust him because you know him. Same with R. Kelly. Like the same type of situation where they're a singer, you like them, they're good looking, they're talented. And so it's almost like, which is terrible, but you kind of trust them more. And now going back to the fact that it's been, let's say 30 years, if it's true that that's been 30 years where people have been hiding P. Diddy's lies, what is that contribution? Is it the power that he holds in society? Is it the power he holds over that person?
Remember how we just talked about how everybody likes lies?
Yeah.
One of the things we like about lies is because lies give us an advantage, right? What is that advantage? When you can align the advantage somebody wants with the lie that they keep, then you have the ability to keep a lie secret. So if you're paying somebody The Diddy story is a fantastic example because some people kept the lie because they were scared. They had seen the abuse. They had seen the violence, and they didn't want to be next on the list. Some people kept the lie because they didn't want to lose their job. They had a fantastic job in a big company. They were making tons of money. The sky was the limit, so they kept the secret because they wanted to protect their job. Some people kept the lie because they wanted an opportunity to be at the right-hand side of Diddy, to be the next featured artist, to be the next, Billboard top hit, right? So they kept the lie because they wanted the opportunity. The lie was the advantage they all had, and they all kept it secret because it was feeding an advantage that they needed. Here's the thing that nobody wants to really talk about. We think that Diddy is an exception. We think R. Kelly is an exception. We think Michael Jackson is an exception. Folks, how many times do you have to see a super wealthy celebrity completely melt down, completely fall apart before you realize they're just people? And we are all equally fucked up. And if we had the kind of resources that Diddy had, with the kind of demand that Diddy had, we would all lean into whatever our unique fucked upness was. For some people that's drugs, for some people that's sex, for some people that's who knows what, right? Gambling. We all have something that makes us a little bit fucked up. When you mix incredible resources with human nature, and then you start layering in the fact that, I am not defending Diddy, but let's be honest about the dude's circumstances. There were other people pulling the strings to make Diddy who Diddy was. Attorneys, investors, labels, like promoters. There were all these people who had to keep the secret. And all they cared about was, hey, keep the guy happy, he keeps producing. Keep the guy happy, he keeps quiet. Keep the guy doing this. Those parties, those freak-offs, I can almost guarantee you, Diddy did not put together one detail about any one of those things. It was 5 or 7 other people that knew he liked them. They were the ones that did all the work. They were the ones that found the girls, found the drugs, prepped the hotel rooms, cleaned the hotel rooms, wiped the blood off the coffee table. Teams of people were involved in this, all because there was something about the lie that gave them an advantage. And that is the way the world works. That is the way it will always work, and it has always worked.
Whew. Obviously, being a woman, I'd be like, yeah, if anyone even said, hey, Lisa, let's get a bunch of dudes, let's hide them, let's manipulate them. I'd be like, fuck no. Get out of my house. I'm calling the cops. So there is the responsibility of the leader that I think is very important. So P. Diddy, if you see that, then you fire people, you let people go. So, but I hear that I hear what you're saying, that it's not just one person. It feels like it may be an army of people, but they have that one person at the top that is everyone's pointing at. Now, just spoiler alert, I've been to a P. Diddy party before. I've been to his house. And I was like, oh God. I was trying to rack my brain to see if I knew of anything, and there was nothing wrong. It was a massive party. It was his 50th birthday. Rihanna was there and Jay-Z was there. But in going to the party, there was an energy I've never seen. Not to for the sex trafficking at all, but the way that people act around power, the way people acted around P. Diddy, Rihanna, and Jay-Z when they were there, it's I don't agree, but I do see how people are just I'll do anything for you. And so it kind of then almost goes back to the cult thing, where it's you have the leader, where people admire the leader so much that they're willing to do anything that leader says.
I would even go beyond that to say it's not just about the leader, it's about the ideology. Because really, when people are at a party with Jay-Z, Rihanna, and Diddy, is it the celebrity that's so powerful? Which one of the three of them is the top of the food chain? At a visceral level, at a survival level, what people were excited about is they were in the music industry. They were in the top of the music industry. They were invited to that kind of event. Whenever you get to go to, and I'm sure you've been, if you haven't been, we can get you to one. I'm sure you've been to some sort of major political event.
No, I haven't.
We've got to get you to one. So I'm not saying Democrat, Republican political. I mean National Day for Mexico in Washington, D.C., right? Or 4th of July at the White House in Washington, D.C. When you're in an environment like that, the institution is the ideology that creates the energy, just like you were talking about in a cult. Very, very similar. It's the ideology that makes people believe in it. The cult leader is just the figurehead, right? There's a strong correlation between cult behavior and extremist behavior, right? Between terrorists and cults. Unfortunately, that same kind of infectious behavior is the same thing that exists at a church tent revival. It's the same kind of energy that exists at the Republican National Convention or the Democratic National Convention. It's that mass psychosis of such incredible faith and dedication to the ideology that ramps up the energy big time. And then when you have big figureheads, Jay-Z, Rihanna, Diddy, in a setting like that, the energy's off the wall. Nobody wants to be the one that kills the party, right? Not excusable, not justifiable, not legal. But you can kind of start to understand what led to all the bad decisions, what led to all the lies. I'm not saying you would do the same thing or I would do the same thing. What would happen is just like with a cult. Remember we talked about how cults are so powerful because they let everybody in and then they very quickly are okay with people leaving who don't belong. Right? You've heard of a term called the inner sanctum?
Yeah.
Inner sanctum is a very real thing. In a cult, there is an inner sanctum, the circle of influence that is closest to the leader. That inner sanctum, you don't get to that inner sanctum until you've earned the trust of the larger cult. So people are kicked out by the first layer of cult before they can ever reach the inner sanctum, which is where their real secrets lie. In this case, same thing with Diddy. There was an inner sanctum. That inner sanctum wasn't one man. That was attorneys, producers, promoters. That was a whole bunch of people involved. And that's one of the reasons why everybody's okay with him fighting. Because if he falls, there's a whole slew of people falling after him. Before we even get to the fucking customers of the sex trafficking. And guess who's gonna be on that list? More entertainers, more professional athletes, more businessmen, more millionaires. It's gonna be a mess.
If you enjoyed that, then make sure that you click right here, right now.
When you put the four of those things together, you kind of create the perfect concoction for a con man to step in, and they leave you high and dry, broke, alone, and dejected. You may not even realize they're